we always try to think like realistically, but realistic doesn't get us anywhere.
True.
Dreams are what get us places. So just keep dreaming. Like, do you think Jeff Bezos was being realistic when he was creating Amazon?
No.
Steve
Jobs.
No one's being realistic. They're asking for the craziest, the actual impossible.
Yeah.
But if you're blocking with negative energy or even realism, because realism is like, don't think it's going to happen.
Right.
You have to be so in alignment with your belief, your desire. Your desire is I want a child, and you have to believe unequivocally it's going to happen for it to happen. But if you have a little doubt or a little like, I guess I'll just be reasonable. I'm 41. Is this maybe going to never happen? Now you've blocked the energy. You've blocked that like highway of like, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better Together. When you know better, you get better. That is what we try to do here every single day. Our quote of the day: children see magic because they look for it. Christopher Moore. I love that.
Isn't that cute?
I love magic, by the way. Do you like magic?
Like magic tricks? Oh, yeah. We should go to the Magic Castle.
I did.
Did you see fun magic tricks?
It's a bit of a strange experience.
Yeah, it is weird.
No, because it's a time warp, so it was cool. Like they make you dress up.
Yeah.
So everybody, there's this thing called the Magic Castle in LA. It's very famous. You have to be a member to be in.
Yeah.
And it's real eclectic. It is cool. I'm glad I got to do it. But so you get all dressed up and you have to go to dinner, but the food wasn't that great.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Right?
But I
hate to be negative, but it wasn't that great. And so I was like, okay, now I'm just going to be starving watching magic all night. Because you get, sometimes when you're going to like a big dinner or whatever, you don't eat as much before because you want to like be free to have your appetizers and the bread and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then they have all these magic rooms that you can go into. And the magic was amazing.
Yeah.
It is worth it. It is incredible. Because where else can you go in LA and watch magic?
Not nowhere that I know.
So we had an amazing time. It was great. But I feel like I did it. I've had magicians come to the house for parties.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
That.
Yeah, because I love throwing parties.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing with parties is you need interactive stuff so that people aren't just wallflowers, right? And so that they meet people. The whole fun of a party is when people are mingling and having fun and getting to know each other, not when it's like two people and they're stuck to each other and they're like looking at everyone and everyone's looking at them with their second partner.
Yeah.
It's awkward. So I always have like games and activities. Like I had Patron sponsored it one year, and I had make your own Patron mug so you could engrave your name in
cool.
it. I've had make your own muddle, and
I like that.
Make your own margarita bars. I've had ping pong. I've had air hockey. I've had beer pong. I've had everything. I have games everywhere, but I have had magicians. And I don't know. I know I'm like very much a little kid inside, even though I'm also a really old person inside, because I've always been super mature, which is probably why I'm a Gemini. It makes sense that I have a little bit of everything. But I love magic.
Yeah.
And fun fact, I was in David Copperfield's act in Vegas once because I had created a segment at Access Hollywood called Maria's Madcap Adventures, where I got to try my hand at anything new that I've never done before.
Oh, that's so cool.
And you would get to see me sink or swim. And so I was on Broadway. I did sports announcing,
I'm sure you were great at that.
No, it was really hard.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, you're like, and he went for the 3. Oh shit, now we're back over here.
It's a lot.
It moves so fast.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And so one of the things was I got to be a magician. And so David Copperfield put me in his act. And
who, for those of you who don't know, is like the OG. Like he is.
Wait, did you just have to qualify who David Copperfield is?
Well, Pooch, you know who that is?
Yeah, but I love this stuff. So
wow.
I feel like a lot of people,
guys.
I'm sure the little interns don't know.
So we are friendly with him.
Yeah.
And so he took us to his so he has his place there, his office, house, whatever it is. And Kevin and I went in, and he has his wall of fame. He's the first to do this, the first to do that, the only to do this, the only to do that. And it was really cool. It was really, really fun. And then when it was soon after that I was on Dancing with the Stars, and Derek and I made it to the semifinals. And so I called him and I said, I have this idea. We're going to do, if we, advance, we're going to do Zorba the Greek, like a whole Greek thing where I want you to transport us to Greece. And now we're in Greece dancing.
Like in a dance. That's cool.
And he was like, got it. He was totally on board to do it, which was huge. I was like, what? Everyone's going to do crazy, amazing stuff. They're all great dancers. I'm like, I've got to have a gimmick.
But we're transporting.
And we're going to transport. And the whole audience is going to be in Greece. It was going to be crazy. And then we didn't make it.
Okay, well, let's bring that back.
We didn't make it to the finals. But I love magic. So all that for the quote of the day, people.
I have to tell you, the reason I thought the Magic Castle was phenomenal was because I'm sitting at dinner and Neil Patrick Harris, who owns the place.
What?
He owns it?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris owns the Magic Castle?
He's like co-owner or something like that.
And
yeah.
I just was negative about his food?
Yeah, sorry. I know.
Sorry, Neil, I didn't know.
Neil. I love. I can't even put into. He's the best.
I know.
How I Met Your Mother was my first show I ever loved ever in my life. So anyways, he walked by us at dinner and I was just like, hey Neil, loving it here. And everyone
No, you didn't.
I swear to God. I swear. And everyone I was with was like,
oh my God.
Kelsey. And he was so nice and was like, oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying your time. It was
When did he buy the Magic Castle?
Let me look. Let's look this up. Let's look it up.
Wow.
Yeah, fun fact.
Pooja, have you gone?
No, but so crazy. My cousin, she lived in LA for years. So when I was younger, we'd visit. And we always passed by the Magic Castle. And I was like, what is that? What is that? And I always thought it was so magical as a little kid. And she's like, you have to be invited. You can only go if you know someone. And it's this place where magicians go. And it's all the best magicians. So it's been a bucket list place for me since I was 8 years old. So the fact that both of you have gone.
Well, it took me 24
crazy.
years of living here to go.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. Yeah. But
it is really, really cool. It's imagine the Comedy Store is really popular here for comedy.
Right.
That is what this is for magic, but there are many comedy clubs. There's only one magic club that I know of.
Yeah, that's the thing about the comedy. The Comedy Store is one of the originals, but then you have the Laugh Factory, you have Ground. There's so many places you can go.
I wonder if there are magic places elsewhere in the country.
I don't know.
Because if there aren't, that would be a great idea for one of our entrepreneurial hill squatters. Because people, oh geez, forgive me guys. That is my ring alarm. I was unprofessional, left my phone on.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, wow, I definitely did not know about Neil Patrick Harris. So now I have something new to say when I talk to him.
There you go.
Can
we should get him on the show.
Upgrade the food. What?
We need to get him on.
I wore this big sweatshirt thinking it was going to be so cold in here.
It was chilly.
It cooled off. So Super Bowl weekend here was so hot. It was in the 90s. I'm poolside getting a tan. And now it's back in the 60s.
I know.
Which is great. I'm happy because I didn't want summer to come that fast.
Not yet. Yeah, I'm a good 70 girl. Mm-hmm. A little, you feel spring-ish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday was way too cold for me. It was windy. And I was like,
it was windy.
What's happening?
I kind of liked it though. I liked the dark gray clouds, but it was mixed with some light, blue skies in weird places. It was a strange day.
Well, and it's nice that it's going to be one day of that.
Yeah.
Because we live here.
Yeah.
So we're spoiled.
We are very spoiled. Heel Squad. So today we're going to be chatting about kids. Okay, Kelsey, we're talking, this is what you wrote. We're talking kids in the business, do's and don'ts, and how the Pope thinks having pets isn't a replacement for kids, but Spain passed a law that pets are considered legal family members. So
very confusing.
So let's dive into this. This is a Kelsey curated show. I do want to say before we get into all of this, Heel Squad, as you know, Macy's is our newest supporter. And I created that Macy's.com/Better Together curated list of stuff. And if you follow me on social media, you saw that I wore one of the dresses that I bought from that list and wore it to my Super Bowl party. And our Super Bowl parties. I wore it on the red carpet at the Sports Illustrated party.
Yeah, she did.
And it was $128, I think.
Yep.
From Layden. Mm-hmm. And it's my new favorite LBD, little black dress. So I have a bunch of stuff on there. I do need to spend some time this weekend and scroll through Macy's.com and find some more new things that I want to add in there.
Yeah.
Because spring is upon us. And so I want to start thinking about like some spring items and some, kind of spring fashion and look ahead a bit.
Yeah.
I know, crazy to summer.
I want you to throw in some like cute spring, like casual spring like dresses.
Okay.
Like little dresses that we could throw on with like a leather if it gets cold. Not too fancy, but like a nice spring could wear with a cute sneaker.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for.
Everything I wear, I want to wear with sneakers.
I know. I mean, I'm not like a heel gal.
P.S. I am returning those other 2 shoes. Remember when I went on the shoe splurge and I couldn't figure out what was going to look good with my pants until I brought them home? I came home and every time I go to wear them, I'm like, no, something's saying like they don't work with what I want. So I'm going to make a lot of money back.
Love that. I love returning stuff.
And yeah. Well, also I'm eyeballing some like hyper colored
that's right.
kind of shoes for summer and spring. And I'm like, winter's almost over here. So these are kind of insignificant now for me.
Throw some shoes in the Macy's on the Macy's page
I think
too.
that's what I'm going to do. But Heel Squad, tell me what you guys want more of on that page. Like, are you liking the page? Is it helping you? Are there things that you are interested in that you're too lazy to look for the best items or like need some help? You're, Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation. There are things coming up I'll be pulling for. But I've been finding it kind of therapeutic. It was great during football season because I would sit in front of the football game and just scroll on my iPad and be like, oh my God, what is this? This is amazing. I am going to look for new glassware because, and some new mugs because I definitely keep using my 90 Day Fiancé mugs, which I love, but I keep using my big Christmas mug because I love how big it is.
Right.
So I need like 2 new mugs.
Yeah.
Couple new, like big, those nice big heavy glasses for drinking.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I want to see too if they have, I love the mugs and I know you do too that are like the clear glass mugs. I think those are so chic and so fun. Also, shout out to my OXO coffee machine I got from
did
Macy's.
You get it?
I am obsessed.
Really?
It's so good. It's so easy. The coffee's really strong. Like I taste a massive difference from my old little Black & Decker plastic one.
Interesting. Well, because you just had that like generic little drip guy.
Yeah.
Which I think is so romantic. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I love the idea of like, the filter, the coffee grinds, make your drip coffee. It's sitting there for you if you want a second cup because we're so used to making the single cup now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, what if I want another one?
But that's why I love this one because it still is a drip machine.
Okay.
But it's just a little elevated because I was getting worried that the water was boiling in this plastic material. And I'm like, I'm going to die. I will die from this.
Okay.
So this one's like slightly elevated, but I had a couple of my consumer friends, AKA Kevin, help me dive in. And this was one of the best. And it's on Macy's.com.
And you're happy? Is it small and compact?
Yeah, it's nice. It fits. It's not like tiny, but it's an 8-cup machine where most of them are 12. So it kind of fits nicely in the nook of my kitchen because my kitchen is very small. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, wow.
So shout out for those of you looking for a new drip machine.
Did you put it on the list? We should put it on
We
there.
should add it. I'm going to make a note.
Okay, so Heel Squad, tell me what you're looking for. One of the cool things about Macy's this month, because it is Black History Month, so since signing the 15% pledge in 2020, Macy's has tripled the number of Black-owned brands that they carry, which is super cool. They're committed to using their purchasing power to represent and benefit the Black community. Macy's is celebrating Black creators and visionaries who are building legacy and influencing culture and style. Join in supporting Black history and Black brilliance by shopping Black-owned brands. Go to Macy's.com/Better Together. We should find out what those brands are so I can curate from them and pop those in.
We're adding that down too.
And perhaps I need to see what pet wear they have since we're going to be talking about our pets and, how some of them are replacing children and how controversial that is. So let's get into this. So Spain. All right. In Spain, pets are no longer an object, but sentient beings. What is a sentient being, Kelsey?
I think that just means a human, right? Let's look it up. Let's look up an actual definition.
I always love Kelsey when I ask her a question. She comes up with something. She pulls something out of her ass and makes it up and is like, oh yeah, no, I think it's this. And you're like, you have no idea.
That one I was not confident on.
So I'm teaching Kelsey to say, I have no idea. It's okay to say I have no idea.
True. Thank you.
What's a sentient being?
Sentient being. Okay. A sentient being is one who perceives and responds to sensations of whatever kind. Sight, hearing, touch, taste, or smell.
Okay. Well, okay, so then that makes sense because they're making the distinction that pets are not objects. They're not just things. They are living, breathing creatures that
thank you.
That reciprocate love.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what reciprocates love more than our pets, but they have the capacity of expressing emotions and feelings. Duh. Winnie is such a little bitch, and she's very loving.
Yes.
And she's got all kinds of emotions, but usually she's barking at us if we aren't giving her attention.
Same.
Which is kind of what I do to Kevin. It doesn't sound quite like a bark, but I'm like, honey.
Oh my God.
In the case of separation, pets cannot be seized, abandoned, mistreated, mortgaged, or even removed from owners. Other European nations, including Germany, Switzerland, Portugal, France, and Austria, also consider animals as sentient beings. This law ensures that government orders also take the welfare of animals into account. If separation or divorce happens in the family, judge considers animals' fate equal to other members of the family. Rule changes: the mortgage law, civil procedure law, and civil code. The law applies to animals both wild and domesticated. Basically, a child custody case is now the same procedure for pets.
Damn.
So who would get Chenza?
I know. Me.
The judge would be like, well, you two are fighting over her, and she would love her just as much. So neither of you win. She'll win.
Auntie wins. Yeah, that would be a tough one. You would get Max.
I feel like she would want to be with me, but she was Kevin's rescue. Kevin is the one.
Right.
Well, no, I was the one actually. When the lady was, okay, so this is Winchenza's story. We had rescued 3 dogs on our street one day. I called Kevin screaming. He comes down the street. There are 2 terrier mixes, kind of stocky, maybe 40 pounders, and a golden retriever, all bones.
Oh.
And they were roaming the street together. And I'm like, oh my God. So I throw them all in the car and, we get them all cleaned up. We get them checked out at the vet, a couple $1,000s later.
Oof, God. Always.
I was like, Kevin, these are the terriers for sure were somebody's dogs. And something happened. The golden retriever was definitely somebody's a long time ago. He had been on the streets for a long time. It was all bones. And so I was like, they just all formed together, a little posse, and hung out. So I said, I think we actually need to do this a different way than sometimes when you see a dog that's been so neglected, you have to make decisions on the fly. And this time I was like, no. And I have a really good instinct and a spidey sense. So I was like, these are somebody's dogs. We got to get them to the shelter.
No collars or anything?
Yeah, they had nothing, no chips. But I was like, let's get them to the shelter. And if they don't get picked up by their owner, then we'll take them and then we'll replace them. So we take them to the shelter, and every day we would go to make sure that the shelter was giving them their medication because we had just gone all this trouble to get the medication. And if they're going to come back to us and all of that, we want to make sure they're healthy.
Right.
So we went to check on them. And as we're walking in now, I brought Athena with us that day, my standard poodle, because I said, Athena, you should come come with us. On
your
this
potential new family.
It was like a field trip that day. We were like, we're taking her with us. And so all of a sudden I see this lady and she's walking in with Winnie and 2 little puppies. And I go, no. And I grabbed her. I go, it's a kill shelter. What are you doing? Oh. And she was like, oh, I can't keep them anymore. And she's like, I have a small place and I can't have them anymore.
Winnie.
And I go, no. I'll take them. Please don't put them in there. Cause bigger dogs, I feel like they can kind of take a hit in a sense. They can hold their own. Little fragile guys in the shelter. I was like, no. So we take them. Now we get in the car. Don't even go back into actually, no, Kevin ran in to make sure they got their meds. I waited in the car with all the dogs. And then we take them home. We get them all washed up, all cleaned up. And we're going to this fancy charity event that night. Oh my God. So I said, Kevin, let's bring them with us. We'll get them homes. This will be amazing. So we take them with us. And there was an elderly gentleman that worshiped Winnie. And she just melted into his body. And then one of the puppies went to this woman who lives up north in San Fran area. So she took the little white puppy, and then there was a beautiful little black puppy. And I brought that one to work, and my security guard adopted her, Sophie. And so Sophie was always around me, which was amazing. Winnie could have given two shits less about our baby. I was like, Winnie,
they were Winnie's puppies, right?
This is your child, Winnie. Hello.
Yeah, Winnie was a teen mom, you guys.
She was a teen mom. And so, and I kept in touch with the woman with the other puppy too, because she's my granddaughter.
Yeah, of course.
And then the elderly couple came over to see Winnie, and they came with their perfect poodle. It was this little asshole. He was perfect. And the wife was just looking at Winnie like it was an aesthetic, it wasn't about a connection. Chandra. The husband was obsessed with her. Who wouldn't be? Winnie just melts in your body like Advil. And so, but for me, I didn't want to keep her because we had too many dogs. We had 5 dogs, all of them elderly, needy. I was like, we don't have the time for this. And so she was like, oh, her back legs are a little too long, and she's got her spine isn't even. It stands up a little higher. She just thought she didn't look good enough. And what it was Winnie was so traumatized. I think they used to kick her and hit her and things like that. That she was in this weird protective body posture. And so she never got adopted. And one day I was in New York during Hurricane Sandy, trying to avoid being severed by this big piece of sheet metal flying through the sky as we're filming, me and my assistant, because we were crazy and we wanted to be out in the storm and film this for everybody.
Oh my God.
And Kevin texts me a picture of him and Winnie under the covers like this. And I was like, I'm screwed. There's no way she's not going anywhere. Yeah. And so I really tried hard to get Winnie a new home. It did not work.
Oh,
and I'm very grateful it didn't work because she's my baby. And so anyway,
that's a crazy story. I've never heard that.
That's the story of Chenza. So
now look at her.
The challenge is Kevin's the one who really fought to keep her. I kept trying to get rid of her. So the judge, I think, would take that into consideration, but he'd also have to take in consideration that she really just wants to cuddle up next to me.
She does.
I don't think it's disrespect to her dad. Her dad just isn't as gentle, right? A dude will flip in the bed and not realize the remote's going to go flying, and she's very skittish and nervous. So I know I have to be super ginger with my movements to not scare her.
Yes.
Kevin, even when he's trying his best, he's a guy. It's like Max. They're kind of like goofy grapes.
Goofy grapes. It's true.
So
that would be a tough one.
It's a tough one. So I think Winnie gets awarded to Kelsey.
Yay!
Max clearly is my guy.
Yeah, of course.
But he does, they love Kevin.
Right.
But I am part animal.
You really are.
I have such a deep connection with them. And so Kevin's been joking that he's going to get a Bichon and that I'm not allowed to meet it for 6 months.
Oh my God.
He's like, you are not allowed to see it, touch it, hold it for 6 months. I need to fully bond with this dog. It's going to be my dog.
I can't.
And I'm like, honey, you know what's going to happen. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You're like, I just have a special connection. That's funny.
So, okay. I'm dying that, child custody cases.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Are now similar to pet custody cases. So the opposite take of this. So Pope Francis speaks to couples who do not wish to have children. Instead, they adopt pets that take the place of children. It suggested that couples who cannot bear children should pursue adoption, states that having Children is always a risk, but denying parenthood is an even greater risk. Those who do not develop the sense of fatherhood or motherhood, they are lacking something. Something fundamental, something important. Oh my God. This is funny.
I know, right?
I want to cry, actually. It's kind of emotional.
Oh.
I don't know why. It's just so strange because I just...
Well, you're kind of going through it right now with...
Yeah, well,
stuff.
because I think about the fact that like we might not be able to.
Yeah.
And guess what? My backup plan is I'm going to Korea and I'm getting 2 perfect Bijans.
Oh my God.
I've been joking to Kevin. I'm like, I want the Bijans I see on Instagram. Yes. I want the little perfect groomed fluff balls. Yeah. And because you don't find Bijans at shelters, like you just can't get them. So I was like, we're going to Korea. They breed the most beautiful Bijans. Anyway. And listen, I get it. I don't think this is the hard thing is this is why we're so blessed is we have the freedom of choice.
Yeah.
And we're independent beings, independent sentient beings.
That's right.
And we should be able to choose what's right for us. And yeah, we might regret it later, or yeah, we might think, we might, whatever. I don't know, but that's on us.
On you, yeah.
I do understand pleading with people to consider adopting because there are so many kids out there who are suffering, who need love. And that just breaks my heart. But you can't impose things. You can't tell people they're bad. No. I mean, I don't know. Did he say people were bad?
He didn't necessarily say they were bad. Yeah. He was just saying, that having a pet doesn't take a place for a kid, which I get. But it's also like when I stayed here and took care of the kids, aka the dogs, I felt like a mother.
Yeah.
Oh my God. When I took care of Winnie and Little Connect, I was like, I'm a mother. I am literally a mother.
She's not sleeping.
Truly though.
she's
gotta
cleaning
pull
up
poop out of her butt sometimes. Like you are a mother.
They're great training wheels.
It is. Yeah. So I think that like you got to give that some credit too, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, my business managers both never had kids. So anytime we had those conversations, they were like, we never had them and we're fine.
Yeah.
And, I know people who are on the other side would say, oh, you're just rationalizing, or, oh, what about when you're old? And a lot of us start to think about kids in the wrong way. Like they're supposed to kind of, do all these things for us. But again, we're raising independent creatures that are supposed to go do their thing. They're not supposed to come wipe my ass. Like,
right.
I mean, I hope my kids will be loving enough to want to.
If necessary.
I mean, I joke with Kevin all the time. I'm like, oh God. I mean, they're going to be trained from go. Like,
oh yeah.
Get mommy her remote control.
Did.
Turn on the lights and the TV.
Make mother her latte.
Make mommy my latte. Yeah. Get them all squared away. They're going to be, running stuff. But the truth is you should not have kids because you're worried about who's going to take care of you later.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a conversation I hear more and more of. I mean, we've had it as kind of like half joking too, but then you think about it, you're like, wait, if I think that I'm going to have kids and I'm going to hope that 20 years from now, they're going to turn around and say, let me give my life up for you.
Right.
There's like a 5% chance.
Right.
Because I have not seen it.
No.
I have not seen it very often.
That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. I always tell Deb I'm just going to put her in a nice home. She's okay with that. I tell her that all the time. I'm always like, Mom, it will be like a nice, bougie. She's like, cool, I'm in. I'm like, great. Because I would take her.
You go find that bougie home. I want to see where that bougie home exists, Kelsey.
I know.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, probably does it.
Yeah. Dream on.
I'll keep y'all posted.
We're going to have to build one.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Oh my God, Maria, we would love that. I would work there every day.
I do think about that sometimes because I've learned so much about caretaking. I'm like, what's funny? My old doctor's brother has a nursing home, so I could probably do it with him.
Oh.
I could probably help him revamp his places.
Well, 75 and above was my favorite age range. So
I know I love old people.
They're the
That's why
best.
we bonded.
I know.
So maybe building a cool nursing home, a bougie nursing home chain isn't a bad idea. I have thought about it, but then, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't handle any more than I'm already handling.
Right.
But I didn't think about him.
I like this.
He could help make it happen.
Because those places are so sad. I know we have a family friend who, it's on my mom's like godmother, and she's in a place, and oh my God, just the stories. And it's not like they're mean or anything, but they're all locked up during COVID. They can't go it's just, it hurts my heart. Yeah. So I like this idea.
Well, in Hollywood, there's the motion picture home.
Oh, I didn't know.
And if you are in the industry, you are eligible to stay there. There's like an insane waiting list. I went and visited it because I was going to start volunteering there, and then COVID hit. And because I wanted to volunteer with old people. You weren't around them, but I was just like so excited. And I was right up, not far from here. And that one's bougie.
Ooh, I bet.
State of the art gym. It's like,
wow.
Its campus is gorgeous. You feel like you're at like Harvard.
Oh my God.
But for nursing homes.
Dang.
Or assisted living.
Yeah.
And they have a hospital wing. It's insane.
Wow.
So there is a model for it. Obviously they have a lot of money, but the nursing home caretaking is already in such a deep crisis because they rely so heavily on family members. Right. If family members didn't take it on, the system would just completely collapse. But also the statistics show that people don't even want those jobs. They're pretty thankless. It sucks when you are dealing with people that can't give you anything back, right?
Yeah.
Like my mom with her caretakers, even though she wasn't herself, she was still very kind.
Right.
And that's not usually the case,
and very
right?
Thankful,
you have cancer, you're in pain, you are, forget it. If you have dementia or Alzheimer's, you really don't know what's really happening.
Right.
And I can only imagine the paranoia levels inside when people are coming at you and you don't know who they are or recognize them.
Yeah,
so on the caretaking side, because I also know that side, it's hard when you're not getting anything because you're already depleting yourself so much.
Right.
And the energy field that you're in all the time is very sad. And so it's hard. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
So people already don't want them.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I just thought about Jason because I really think I'm going to figure this out. That's obviously an area I'm very passionate about. But
and you're very knowledgeable in so much. I've even learned so much through watching you. It's just, I like this. Let's keep that in our little back pocket.
We're going to put a pin in that for now and go back to denying parenthood. Okay, so the statistics, 7% decline in childbirth rate in the U.S. in 2020. Well, duh, who wanted to bring kids in at the top of COVID? Not me. I put all my surrogacy stuff on hold. I remember we had just signed the deal, like the paperwork with our surrogate, and I go, this is the scariest moment of our lives.
Yeah.
I can't have you get pregnant right now. I'm going to put embryos in you, and then all the crazy things you were seeing back then. I was like, So we paused.
It's funny because that's actually surprised me, that statistic, because I felt like I saw more COVID babies, and maybe it was just...
No, it was so focused in the news because everybody was scared what was going to happen, right? So when you were hearing, COVID babies were very popular because of that.
Right. And they got highlighted. I get what you're saying. And I think too, it was like, I'm talking seeing celebrities. Yeah. So it's like, that's a small percentage.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, and when I saw like my neighbor had a baby in COVID, when I saw her get through it successfully, that's when I was like, okay, I think we can start the process now. So yeah.
Interesting.
We had a decline, 9% decline in childbirth rate in Italy. They were having too much wine and cheese and prosciutto.
They're having too much fun.
They're like, wow. 8% decline in childbirth rate in Spain. It says final remarks. I don't know what any of this stuff means.
Oh, it's just a summary of the article. He goes on to say that we should cherish mothers. That's why I kept it in there. I was like, damn right we should.
So he's calling for kindness towards women. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pope.
Call for an end to violence against women for the sake of our motherhood. To hurt a woman is to insult God, who from a woman took on our humanity, not through an angel. not directly, but through a woman. And since mothers bestow life and women keep the world together, let us all make greater efforts to promote mothers and to protect women.
And seen.
I love that.
Right?
So... the next page.
Just a slight transition into children in the biz.
Oh, I think this is... Okay, so now we're moving on to Psychology Today.
Yeah, these are, I pulled, you don't have to read all of them, but there were some, I like the final article the best actually, talking about kids now with social media, the percentage of people who want to be famous because they're on social media. It's just interesting. And I've always found it interesting with celebrities, right? Okay, let me give you an example.
Is Pooja sneezing?
Oh, no, it's Winnie.
I was going to say, bless you.
It's Winnie.
But bless you, Winnie. Before we get into the kids in the business, though, let's just finish on children being born and stuff.
Okay.
And we'll move on to their, fame aspirations in a second, because we do have a question from one of our Heal Squad members.
Yes.
From Sarah. She says, I'll be 41 in April, and my husband and I are currently going through fertility treatments after 2 consecutive losses. Ugh. Any advice on managing expectations as we continue to navigate this journey? I sometimes find a battle between trying to manifest a positive outcome versus being realistic. Great question, Sarah. I am 43, and we have been doing this for over 10 years.
Wow.
And it is so exhausting. I have actually been very chill for the most part about it because I just know that there's a timing in the universe. And I so believe that I just kind of have always been like, well, it's going to happen when it happens. So when we were trying naturally, I mean, listen, like we did everything, whether it was artificial insemination where they baste you.
Oh God.
Or Kevin's hung me upside down. I mean, I literally, it's like, hang me upside down. I don't know why. You're a stupid sperm. Like we used to call a sperm stupid sperm. Because they said that he had motility issues or whatever. Like they test the sperm. This is TMI. Sorry guys. They're like, Dad, I don't want to talk about Dad like this. But so they would swim in little circles. And so we had to have this like surgery and
oh, wow.
Kevin had a surgery. I mean, I did all the IVF treatments and the surgeries to, take out the eggs. I was hung upside down. I was like
basted.
I was basted.
Jeez.
We did everything and nothing would work. And then we went to the surrogate because in the interim, I also got the brain tumor. And now my doctor, contrary to certain people in our lives, believes.
Oh God. Yeah.
Talk about mothers who love to shame other people. She's like, I don't understand. Like, why can't she have a baby? And I'm like, because my doctor, the top neurosurgeon in the world, is concerned that my brain tumor will grow if I get pregnant because everything grows when you're pregnant. Now, where is your degree from?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So anyway,
forgot about
a great reason to whatever. So that's why I had to go the surrogate route. And now the surrogate route, I mean, think about it. We met her at the beginning of COVID. So it was probably a little over a 1.5-year journey with her. Mm-hmm. And now we have a new surrogate. And so I think that, I think it's harder when you've actually tried and lost. And I don't know where, what exactly you're dealing with, Sarah, because I imagine you are maybe implanting these embryos in you and then they're not taking and stuff like that. There is a process that they can do, like a mock cycle that you should ask your doctor about. So we're doing that with our surrogate, and we did it with our last surrogate, which is why we didn't lose our embryos because they do this mock cycle that you can test the medications on you or whoever's carrying the baby. And then you can get the medications right. So sometimes you need a certain amount of progesterone to get the uterine lining to go to a certain place. And so certain medications will work on someone and not on the other person. So they can kind of fine tune everything before they implant.
Interesting.
It's more expensive.
Yeah.
But Sarah, for you at this point, maybe that's something you want to think about, right? Because it's like a cost analysis. Like how much more can I take of it this way? And how much more is it going to cost me to keep doing it this way if it keeps failing? Whereas if I just figure out a way to do a mock cycle, maybe that will prevent and help us actually get to our, final goal. Because for us, we've spent an exorbitant amount of money that, I don't necessarily have right now because I'm not working in the way I was, just to do these things. And I was like, God, should we just not do the mock cycle? Because she said to me yesterday, she goes, we're like 70% sure she's going to be fine. But I only have 2 good quality embryos and 1 fair.
It's very stressful.
And we're going to put 2 in. So I'm like, do I want to take that chance?
Risk that,
It's like squeeze a lemon, do the mock cycle.
That's what you guys are going to do.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
That's smart.
So I think that one of the best things you can do, so I do this when I do my meditations, the Joe Dispenza meditations now, is, and he talks about, and Esther Hicks talks about this too, is like feeling the feelings of what you want before it comes changes like basically the chemistry in your body. I think it's like gene expression. The gene, forget it. I'm not even going to try. It's too hard. But there is something that changes chemically in your body, or a protein that's released from the genes that actually helps change things up. So,
well, Dr. Laura talked about it on yesterday's show.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
like relationships.
Yeah. So you want to just start feeling the feelings. Like I'll envision the babies in our arms and us, being so happy when they're born and the love we're going to feel when they're like up against our chest and we're holding them and their little faces in front of us and their, stupid little smiles. And so I'll envision all of that stuff. I was saying recently how, oh my God, my alarm is so bad, guys. My alarm sounds like a porn. Listen, just so you don't think I actually have like porn music on here. It's Missy Elliott.
Hilarious.
But she starts with, and wherever I am, I sound so embarrassed. I get so embarrassed.
Funny.
But it's a less startling way to get an alarm. Anyway, what I was saying was, Pooja.
What are you saying, Pooj?
Keep feeling your feelings.
Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza. Okay. Oh,
you picture holding them in your arms.
I would picture my parents holding them. And then eventually my mom disappeared. It was before she was gone. I couldn't see her holding one of our babies. And I would force her in there. I would try to force her, but she wasn't. And that's when I kind of knew we were going to lose her. Because when I will scan someone's body, I'll see like a red X and then I'll do like work to try to get the green check mark back. Like that they're healthy, that it's gone or whatever. Like I'll work on shrinking a tumor or whatever it is I'm doing. But sometimes when I can't get rid of the X, I'm like, oh shit. Like this is not good. Like my uncle had cancer and I was working on him. And every time I'd get a green check mark, it would go right back to the X. And I'm like, oh frick, I can't do this. It won't work. But now I just envision me and Kevin holding them. And so I think, Sarah, the best advice I can give you is start feeling the feelings of them already being here or one of them being here. Cause it sounds like maybe you're doing one. And that will help. And I think that, we always try to think like realistically, but realistic doesn't get us anywhere.
True.
Dreams are what get us places. So just keep dreaming and keep in that energy field of it's happening. It's not going to happen. It's happening. It's already, you're in process. So it is happening and it's going to come at the right time. It's going to happen at the right time. For me, I thought we would have been ready, but we weren't. Like I really had to do what I had to do with my mom.
Oh yeah. Could you imagine who had kids during that time?
It would have been so hard. Really but hard. Listen, if it was supposed to happen, it would have. And maybe, my mom was supposed to see them or whatever, but it all happens the way it has to. So just, give it up, surrender it to God or the universe, whatever you feel comfortable with, and just say, I know that this is going to happen, and it's kind of like right divine timing. And, you know, I'm so excited, and that's that. And just keep envisioning it happening.
That's great advice.
That's kind of what I do and what I'm doing. And I've been doing it for a really friggin' long time.
And it's coming. It's happening.
Yeah. I
really like that advice on the realism stuff, because I think that, like, at least I know I'm a dreamer. I always dream. And sometimes you have to be realistic, right? But I think, like, in situations like these, Maria, like, you're absolutely right. It's like, you have to have that dream. You have to have hope. You have to have, you know, you can't just be realistic. So I think that's great.
There's a really good quote on, you know, realistic never got anybody anywhere. Like, do you think Jeff Bezos was being realistic when he was creating Amazon?
No.
You know?
Steve Jobs.
No one's being realistic. They're asking for the craziest, the actual impossible.
Yeah.
No one thought, oh yeah, let's sell things and give shipping for free.
Yeah, right. In a day?
Not possible, but they made the impossible possible. And so I think we really need to kind of abandon realism, because what we're trying to do is just negotiate our feelings and mitigate pain. And, you know, you know, Tony Robbins talks about all the time, like, when you can live in uncertainty, that's when great things happen, right? You have to get comfortable with uncertainty. And so I love spontaneity. I love certainty. Trust me. I want certain that money's in the bank. I want certainty that I can pay my bills. I want all of that. But I try to surrender the rest up to kind of like, you know, and then I, like, you know, in my prayers at night, I always say, I'm like, continue to flow, continue to flow, continue to flow money easily and frequently, continue to flow health, continue to flow love, continue to flow great people into my life. So I'm always I'm never coming from lack, like we talked about yesterday.
Yep.
I'm coming from abundance, and I want more of it. And it always comes.
Wow. Always
works out. But if you're blocking with negative energy, or even realism, because realism is like, don't think it's going to happen. Right. You have to be so in alignment with your belief, your desire. Your desire is, I want a child, and you have to believe unequivocally it's going to happen for it to happen. But if you have a little doubt, or a little like, oh, I guess I'll just be reasonable, I'm 41, is this maybe going to never happen? Now you've blocked the energy. You've blocked that, like, highway of, like, yes. And you're like, eh.
Yeah. Oof. That's really good, Maria. Look at you. I mean, it works in every way, right? With everything. I'm going to put that in my back pocket. Thank you.
There you go.
I think so often, even like with me, who I'm a very positive person, right? It's like stuff, whether it's society or other people, like stuff creeps into your head, and then it blocks. Like, I know even with my stomach, there'd be days where I'm like, I'm never going to get better. And I'm like, okay, cool. If you keep saying that, you're not going to. So it's like you really have to believe. Anyways, I love that.
Yeah. I am not being realistic by saying I want to do Sports Illustrated at 43, turning 44.
I mean,
and be with 20-year-olds who are like ridiculously in shape and hot. Like, well, I'm not being realistic.
You're ridiculously in shape and hot, so you can do it in 2 seconds.
Put me next to the 20-year-old. You're going to see a massive difference. You're going to see some cellulite. You're going to see some wrinkles, but it's fine. That's what I want. I want that crazy impossible. But that's, for me in life, like, if you don't have those crazy impossible things that you're looking forward to or trying for,
striving for,
it's kind of boring.
Totally.
Because we only have one life. Why not think of like
which is why I want this house, Maria.
Kelsey, it's never happening. I'm kidding.
I want my house over the water.
Totally fucking with you.
I know you are.
But also, I also like doing that because it gives somebody fuel.
It lights fire under my butt.
Yeah, like, definitely. To me, I love when people tell me it can't happen, because if I'm in the right mindset, it's like, I'll show you.
Exactly.
I'll show you. So that's why I give you a little bit of it to kind of be like, wake up and,
I love it.
And push harder or whatever.
I love it.
But obviously I'm kidding. But I am moving in when you get it.
Oh, yeah, girl.
I need a room.
Duh.
All right. Heal Squad. Love you. Don't forget to, if you are buying anything at Macy's.com that isn't on my list, it does help us if you use our landing page, Macy's.com/bettertogether, to search for your items from there. Thank you for supporting us as always. In the meantime, be nice people, make good choices, and be present. And have a great rest of your week. Love you guys.